We're returning. You know, one of the issues that's going on here with Obamacare is the fact that many of the folks that have insurance, either that they've obtained privately if they don't, if they're retired or don't work for a company or they work for themselves, many of the policies that they have, and those who work for corporations where they have insurance through their employer, the issue is that they are getting letters from their employers that are showing how much the increases are going to be in their current policies. And the reason for that is simple. The problem that we have with Obamacare is that they're being forced to buy insurance which covers things that they don't really need. Here's the quintessential example. If you're 60 years old, you're too young to go on to Medicare, Medicare, and because you haven't hit retirement age yet. And you might still be working, you might not. It doesn't even matter. What does matter is this. You're required, under Obamacare's regulations, for that insurance policy that you have to offer you maternity care. Now, look, anyone who's 60 years old, they may be married to someone. Let's take a man, for example. They may be, because it's the only way that the scenario works. They may be married to a woman who's young enough to have children. But most people in the age of 60 years old are married to someone who's of a parallel or similar age, which means they're beyond childbearing years, medically, if not philosophically. So the idea that you are required to buy maternity care when you are in the age of 50 and older is absurd. Yet the people who are seeing their policies go up are going up because it requires maternity care. Now look, most people are beyond childbearing years at best in their mid-40s. There are people who will have a child at 45 or whatever, but let's be candid. Even with the improvements in medical science, most women don't want to have a child after 40 or 45. It's just, they're a lot of work. You got to chase that kid around. And so the idea that women who are above the age of, say, 45 should have to have maternity insurance, maternity care insurance, and it's just absurd. Now, I understand wanting to have, a gynecological coverage. That's fine. But having maternity care with the idea that, some hospital's going to get racked with a $12,000 baby bill when you are in your 50s is just ridiculous. It's like saying everybody's got to buy a size 24 shoe. Well, there's only, 11 people on the planet that fit a size 24 shoe. It's crazy. Even if you've never used drugs or you do not drink alcohol, you're required to have substance abuse treatment. Why? Substance abuse treatment ought to be the kind of thing that you buy an additional rider for. That's how it works with every other type of insurance on the planet. You either buy a policy that offers it if you believe that you're at risk to need it, or you don't. Why am I paying a premium for at my age for maternity care? I'm not having any more children. Why am I buying substance abuse and rehabilitation treatment when I don't drink? I don't take drugs. And I'm old enough at this point that the odds of my starting to do that are extraordinarily low. But the absurdity here is that No matter where you come from, no matter what your circumstances are, that's the problem with government. It wants everything to fit into a neat little box. And it doesn't really matter whether your circumstances fit that box or not. You're required to get it into that box. And anything you have that does not fit into that box must be cut away and thrown. You have to have mental health. Well, for all the good it's doing, because all they're doing with mental health is feeding you antidepressants by the fistful. The truth is, ladies and gentlemen, mental health is not, it's really not even a science, for crying out loud. It's as subjective as you can get. They've got 20% of our children on ADHD medications, which are completely and absolutely totally unnecessary. Boys are boys, and they're going to get rambunctious. It doesn't mean that they've got some kind of a learning disability or an attention deficit disorder. Boys have been squirrely since boys have been alive. That's what boys are. Because the boy doesn't want to sit there and twiddle his thumbs like good little Poindexter doesn't mean that the kid ought to be doused in mind-altering chemicals that will change the nature and the composition of his thinking processes. It's just an absurdity. It's inexcusable. And what it is it's an experiment being perpetrated on every American by pharmaceutical companies with the genuflection blessing of our government. Now, personally, I find that reprehensible, and you should too. I'm not saying that there aren't children who do need assistance. There are, but let's be candid, folks. They are in the significant major minority, not 20% of America. And the truth is that we know how dangerous some of these chemical intrusions into our minds are. Every instance, I'm going to say it one more time so you get it. Every instance of a mass shooting has involved psychotropic medications, including Paxil and Prozac and all of these other antidepressant medicines. Every one, without fail. Every instance. And we never had these kinds of issues before, did we? We only started having them when we started filling up our kids with dope. Dope that, quite honestly, we have no idea what the long-term ramifications are. Now we're finding out. We're the lab rats who are starting to die off or freaking out and running through a mall with a shotgun killing innocents. There's something quintessentially wrong with that entire mindset. But you've got to have mental health. It's an absolute mandatory. And by the way, all those mental health records will now be wide open to the government. So they're going to be able to pick and choose who they want to, utilize that information against. Oh, you want to apply for a gun permit to buy a gun? Oh, I'm sorry, you can't. You visited a mental health professional and he said you're a danger to yourself and others. Where's the proof? Well, there isn't really any proof. It's a subjective statement by a guy who's hanging a shingle on the wall that he got from some crackpot university. But the truth of the matter is, we're going to take his word over yours. Mental health is subjective. There is no scientific methodology to prove that you have a problem or don't have a problem. And it's the equivalent of walking into a courtroom where you say, I wasn't speeding, and the cop says he was. They're going to take their word for it every single time, whether you were or you weren't. And in this case, they're going to take the word of a doctor over the patient every single time. Well, the doctor says he may actually be delusional enough to not realize he's got a mental health problem. You got to be kidding me. I mean, folks, look, this isn't something really complicated to understand. It really isn't. Forcing you to have substance abuse treatment when it's unnecessary for you, forcing you to have mental health, rehabilitative care, forcing you to have maternity care. No wonder the premiums are going through the roof. The insurance companies are sitting down there saying, here's the risk. And by the way, the insurance companies are all for this Obamacare thing because they know that they've got license to steal as a result of it. It allows them to reshift and reshuffle the entire deck. Well, let's see, if we put in rehabilitative care and substance abuse treatment and mental health and maternity care for everybody, man, what a windfall we're going to reap. The simple truth is that what we're seeing is massive increases in everyone's premiums. And the truth of the matter is, it's unnecessary. A significant percentage of Americans will never even begin to use those types of services. Anybody over 50 who's buying Medicare, or maternity care, is never going to use it. How many Americans are over the age of 50? Over the age of 45? You know, if you could say, well, I'm okay with buying a policy, but I don't want to buy a policy that offers me maternity care because I'm 50 and my wife is 48. And we're not going to have any more children. It's biologically impossible. It's not even a question of do we want to. It's not physically possible. The truth is, you know, this is a scam being perpetrated on America. And the real reason that it's a scam is because the insurance companies are the ones who are approving and lobbying for this. The government, they want the money out of it. The government wants the control out of it. And the second issue that the government wants is to be able to strip and withdraw, if you will. And I want you to use that mental picture. They're withdrawing resources from the middle class, the lower and upper middle class. That is the game here, folks. Bankrupt them before they can use that money to fight us, to fight back against us. They know that this thing is coming to a head. That is the truth. That is the truth. Everything else is lies and misrepresentation and marketing. You know, I got to tell you, these representatives, alleged representatives, I mean, if they truly represented us, why do we have someone like Claire McCaskill, who was told by 71% of the voters in the state of Missouri, we do not want you to vote for Obamacare? And like the arrogant, she is so full of hubris. She knows better than we do what we need. I mean, I got to tell you, folks, that is so far outside what Americans are willing to accept. We shouldn't have to accept that. We don't put a representative into Congress to think on our behalf. We put them in there to act on our behalf. But when we give a clear 71% mandate, folks, that tells you something. Claire isn't smarter than 71% of Missouri. You know, there is a comment on her on her Facebook page. Listen to your constituents. Missourians are smarter than your average person. Missourians know who will have to pay for this bill. And so far, you have figured out how to cut a deal for you and your aides. Who does that leave to pay for the bill? Stop playing games and listen to your constituency. You see, it's inconceivable at this point that people like Claire, that people like Roy Blunt, that people like your representative in whatever state you're in, they are not representing you. The truth of the matter is, the only time they have an interest in you is about 6 to 8 months before they're elected again. Then, of course, they come around and they fawn all over you as if, you know what this reminds me of? This reminds me of the spoiled, rotten kid who hears that grandma has been diagnosed with a deadly disease. And suddenly, the woman that they couldn't stand, the woman that they wouldn't give the time of day to, when she came over to the house, the kids split the other way because they can't stand that old decrepit lady. Suddenly, they want to go in there and fawn all over grandma and, I love you so much. And what they're really hoping for is some kind of a nest egg. It's no different, folks. And you know it. That's all this is. That's all they do. You are completely ignored. And in the Senate, it's a 6-year term. So for 5.25 years, they go against your best interest and then pretend as if you're blessed by their presence. Really? I have no respect for politicians because the truth of the matter is they don't have any respect for you. You're there to be used in a timely fashion just before their next election. You're a pawn to be played at the right moment, at the right time. And what is the primary function of pawns in chess? They're expendable, and they're meant to be sacrificed to achieve a greater goal. And that is where we are. We're going to take a break. When we come back, we're going to tackle our third topic, which is China warning the United States in clear and not even remotely subtle language about the fact that they are not going to tolerate a problem with the $1.3 trillion of debt that they hold. Now, for the record, we're going to talk a little bit about it, what our response should be, because, the amount of interest on that debt is pretty nominal. And, we have more than enough resources. The truth of the matter is, if we'd stop spending money, well, we'll get into it in the next topic. The truth of the matter is, we're on a hard break. If we'd stop spending money on all of this ridiculous crap, we'd be far better off. We'd have all the money we need and then some. You're listening to America's Voice now. Ride with us for this next through this break, and when we return, we'll tackle this topic. You can find us on the web by going to americasvoicenow.org. You can find us also by going to our Facebook page, which is facebook.com/America's Voice Now. And then you can also find this and every other video episode that we do on the radio, but you can find it on video at YouTube by going to youtube.com/America's Voice Now. We'll be working this week with our new video studio. We'll be working to produce a couple of episodes and getting our feet wet there a little bit. I'll post those up on YouTube as soon as they're created and ready. I think you'll be impressed. I know certainly I have been, and I'm not that easy to impress. Kind of cynical, aren't I? We'll be back in just a moment. Stick with us.